Hello everyone and welcome to Bommy Media. My name is Anita Wong and today I'm going to talk to you about how you can prevent a techie meltdown by allowing yourself more time and putting in some planning before you start your task. So I'm going to talk to you about allowing enough time, so not to rush the task between phone calls or interviews or appointments or anything like that, but actually just giving yourself enough time to do the task without feeling pressure. A lot of the time pressure will make you become more flustered, will make you question what you're doing, and it can be really off-putting if you know that you want to do the thing you want to do but you just don't have enough time. So remember to just allocate yourself enough time to do the task. So while I'm waiting, before I move on to the other tips, I'd just like to say if you're joining me today, welcome to my live. I'm going to be doing a live every day this week talking to you about the strategies you can put in place to prevent yourself having a techie meltdown. So prevention is better than the cure. So if you can put some of these strategies in place before you have a go at doing something new on your website or on your social media, then it will help you in the long run. If you are joining me, please let me know that you're here. And if you have any questions about what I'm going over today, which is all about planning, then please pop them in the comments below and I will answer your questions, whether you're watching the live or later on during the rest of the week. So my first tip of the day is to allow yourself enough time to do the task. So that means allocating time to actually research the task as well and also practice before you actually go ahead and do it. The second tip, which is probably the biggest tip of all, is to actually plan your content ahead of time. Now I'm going to use writing a blog as an example for today's live. When you write a blog, it's really good before you go to put it onto your website to actually prepare the content fully. So write the content, ask somebody you know or an editor friend or a journalist or somebody that you know, business coach, to have a little look through the blog just to make sure that it flows well. If you don't have anyone to do that, then write what you want to write and then leave it for the day. Sleep on it and then go back the next day and reread it just to check whether it flows properly, whether you've missed anything out and whether you can add anything in. Also prepare the images that you need to use to put onto your blog. Now, depending on your website theme, will depend on how your blog lays out. Now, I personally have what's called a Divi website, which is a theme created by Elegant Themes. Now, their website is made on what you would call a drag and drop builder. So you can create your content into blocks and lay them out how you want to. It's a really good way of creating your blog posts or any other content. But if you have everything prepared, when you go to put the blog on your website, it makes it a lot easier. So if you've got images that you want to put on your blog, which is highly recommended because reading lots of words can be a little bit off-putting, so having images inside your blog really helps. So for example, if you wanted an image at the very top of your blog post, then most images would be horizontal, so it fits the space nicely. And looking at my notes, the full width on a general website would be 1080 pixels. Now, if you're not sure what that means, it basically means that a general monitor for your computer is around between 1200 to 1400, depending on the size of your computer screen. But most header images, or what you would call hero images, or the header for the blog, are around 1080. That would fill the full screen at the top of your blog post. If you wanted to make it a little bit smaller, so it sort of sat generally in the middle, then you could go for something around the 780 marker. Now, what you could do is you could use a tool called Canva. Now, Canva is an online app which allows you to resize images, but it also has lots of templates inside of Canva that you can use, and they do have some pre-planned sizes. So you could go on there and search blog posts and it would come up with the size that it recommends that you use for your images. So that's a really good tool to use. If you're not sure of how to use Canva, then you can have a little look on my page because I do have some videos in there on how to use Canva to create good images and posts, so you might be able to pick up some tips there. Another place to start with content is perhaps write your content itself onto a Word document or Google Forms or anything like that, and then use a tool such as Grammarly to check that the grammar flows and that the spelling's all okay. Because if you make sure that all of your content is ready, when you go to actually pop it onto your website, it's going to be a lot easier. You can concentrate on what it's going to look like on the outside rather than what's going on the inside. Another way of checking what your blog post would look like is to hit the preview button. Now the preview button allows you to see what the website, the blog looks like on the outside before you post it. So that's one of the things you can do. And always, one of the biggest tips about planning your content and popping it onto the website is to save your blog post as you go along. So most websites, all of the WordPress websites I've ever worked on or used, allow you to save your blog post as a draft, so that every stage you put your blog post in, it makes it easier. So the first tip is all about allowing enough time so that you don't feel rushed. The second tip is to allow yourself to plan the content. So make sure everything's done before you go and do the task. So we're using uploading a blog post as an example. So allowing yourself to finish the content properly, proofread it, make sure it flows, prepare your images. So you can go to Canva to prepare your images. If you don't know where to get your images from, you can either use some images in Canva. There's Pixabay is another platform that you could source free images from. If you want to pay for images to make your posts pop, then you've got Shutterstock and iStock Photos. So the third tip that I want to go over with you today is relax. Take your time. Don't beat yourself up about it if you don't do it straight away. But ultimately, just relax and do things slowly. That's why allowing yourself in tip 1 the time to do it is really, really important, because if you're not rushed, you're not racing to get to the next appointment or the phone call that you're expecting, you can relax and take your time about doing it. And one of the biggest things I would say is don't be afraid of asking for help. There are lots of people in your own network that will have been doing the tasks that you're trying to do before. If you're not planning on doing a blog post and you're doing something else, perhaps you're writing or putting an event up on Eventbrite, or you're changing some content on your website, or you're just popping, or you're trying something new on social media. Perhaps you're trying to put a story up on Facebook and you haven't done it before, or Instagram. There are lots of people in your network that would have done the task on their computer that you're trying to do. So just ask for help. You could go into your favourite Facebook group and ask them for help. I actually popped a question in to one of my favourite Facebook groups this morning, asking for help around something that I'm planning to do online. And lots of people came to my assistance and gave me ideas, referred me to blog posts and things like that to have a little look at. So don't be afraid to ask for help. Okay, so that's the 3 tips on how to prepare and prevent a techie meltdown when it comes to doing something new. So planning is the key. So that's my biggest takeaway of today, is to plan what you're going to do before you do it. And the tips that you can do are: number 1, allow enough time. Don't rush between the tasks or the phone calls. Number 2, plan your content in advance. Prep your images using software such as Canva, or even Photoshop if you're very good at using images. Have a look on YouTube or on some videos before, or even better, if you're planning to do something to do with your website, looking at the content that other people have done on their websites is also good, just seeing the layout and things like that. But also going to your theme developer. So for instance, I use Divi, which is an elegant themes website. I go to their website quite a lot and look at their blogs about what people are doing on their website and how to do things. So sometimes your developer or the website person where you got the theme from can help you as well on planning. And also relax. Just take your time and don't let the task become too big of an issue. And if it is starting to phase you whilst you're doing it, walk away from your computer, press the save button before you walk away, go and make yourself a cup of coffee, or go and get a drink, or just walk outside for 10 minutes and just move away from what you're doing and relax. So I hope you've enjoyed these tips for today. If you would like to watch tomorrow's tip on how to prevent a techie meltdown, then when this live has finished, there'll be a button that says get notifications. If you click that, then when I'm planning to go live tomorrow, you'll get notified that I will be live. So that's it for today. Oh, I'll just see if anyone has any questions before I leave about what I've just covered, then please just pop them into the comments box, and I'm quite happy to answer them as the day goes on. So I will see you tomorrow for my next tip on preventing a techie meltdown. Thanks very much then. Bye bye.